This is Euronews Now. I'm Raul San. It's great to have you with us. Let's take a look at our top stories. Russian missiles strike Ukraine's Black Sea port of Odessa, killing a teenage boy amid fears Russia is opening a new battlefront in the conflict. The EU moves towards phasing out Russian oil imports by the end of the year, but there are still many divisions on a possible gas import ban from the bloc. And are abortion rights under threat in the US? Protests erupt outside the Supreme Court over fears justices are poised to overturn a ruling legalizing abortion.
Ukrainian authorities say a Russian missile attack struck the Black Sea port of Odessa on Monday evening, killing a 15-year-old in a residential building. Earlier, Moscow said it had also hit a railway bridge across the Dniester estuary west of the city. Its destruction cuts access to shipments of weapons and other cargo from neighbouring Romania. Experts say the strike shows that Russia is opening a new battlefront in the conflict. East Ukraine continues to be Russia's main target. Video of a historic school burning after being shelled in Luhansk was released by local authorities. The US has repeated its claim that Russia is planning to annex Donetsk and Luhansk.
According to the most recent reports, we believe that Russia will try to annex the Donetsk People's Republic and Luhansk People's Republic, in quotes, so-called, to Russia. The reports state that Russia has plans to engineer referenda on joining Russia sometime in mid-May.
In the Ukrainian capital, locals have begun rebuilding. Areas from north of the Kyiv region were shelled and occupied by Russian troops just a month ago. Once Russian forces withdrew, municipal emergency teams and volunteers started working to restore basic services such as electricity, water and gas. After Denmark became the first Nordic country to reopen its embassy in Kyiv, Sweden is to follow suit on Wednesday, after closing its embassy temporarily following Russia's invasion.
A slow trickle of people fleeing the devastated city of Mariupol are arriving in Zaporizhia, but not in the numbers Ukraine was hoping for. A first group of civilians trapped for weeks inside Mariupol's Azovstal steelworks are expected, but efforts to save more people from the horrific conditions inside the huge plant have stalled. Those who've made it reveal what life has been like under the Russian bombardment.
They bombed Azovstal for a month. All the markets are destroyed. All the shops are destroyed. All drugstores destroyed. No medicine, no food, nothing. And the children? I hope you never have to suffer like this. Never again.
Hundreds remain trapped in underground bunkers and tunnels beneath the steelworks, the last stronghold of resistance to Russia's siege. There's no mention of wounded Ukrainian forces being included in any further evacuations. And across the rest of the city, there are still an estimated 130,000 people struggling to survive. But according to footage released by Russia-backed separatists, some Mariupol residents have returned to their destroyed homes.
You know, home is home. It may be damaged, but I have my own spoon, fork and plate here. Who needs me? If I go, I should take something with me. I won't go far with the pension I have. We don't plan to leave.
But for others, there is no choice.
It's very bad at our home. We don't have a house anymore. We don't have a city anymore. We left on Saturday and reached Vasilivka, but we couldn't leave as there was active fighting.
The Russian siege of Mariupol has left those trapped in dire conditions in a wider war which has uprooted 13 million people and killed thousands.
UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson has said that visas for Ukrainians fleeing war could have been processed faster. So far, some 86,000 visas to the UK have been issued out of over 117,000 requests, and only 27,000 refugees have actually arrived in the country. British Home Secretary Priti Patel is also facing legal action over this visa backlog. Some of the delays have been made worse by applicants not being informed of their visa approvals. Some charities have been calling on the Homes for Ukraine programme to be immediately overhauled to stop the potential endangerment of vulnerable peoples.
Brussels says it's preparing for some difficult months ahead in its energy sector. EU ministers in this field met on Monday for an extraordinary meeting to discuss the bloc's strategy after Russia decided to cut off gas to Poland and Bulgaria last week. Now the EU is working to ensure the continent's gas storage will be full by autumn. It's currently at 32%, and according to the Commissioner in charge of energy, Kadri Simpson, any member state could be the next victim of Moscow's energy cuts. Brussels is also working in parallel on a sixth package of sanctions against Russia that will focus on a phased-out embargo of oil. Germany, one of the main opponents, is now agreeing to it.
After 2 months of work, I can say Germany is not against an oil ban on Russia. Of course, it is a heavy load to bear, but we are ready to do that. We have to prepare the harbors, we have to prepare the pipelines, so time is helpful. But I think other countries have bigger problems.
The proposal could be announced by the European Commission as soon as Tuesday. But for some experts, the plan must be handled with care, as it has the potential to backfire.
If we are now moving to sanction Russian oil with a gradual embargo, Russia might respond immediately by saying, okay, then we cut the gas. And leaving Russia this strategic game at end might not be the best option for the EU. It might be better for the EU to put a tariff immediately on both oil and gas coming from Russia into the European Union.
Some countries are instead calling for a punitive import tax on Russian energy rather than an embargo. Christopher Pitchers, Euronews, Brussels.
Our viewers at this stage must feel like they've been hearing about the potentiality of a Russian oil embargo for weeks, because of course it's been under discussion, intense discussion, night and day. And in fact, all last weekend we saw European Commission officials pick up the phone lines and call the various EU capitals to gauge the temperature on how far they were willing to go. Because member states like Hungary, for example, like Slovakia, also Italy, Austria, very much dependent on Russian oil and of course Russian natural gas, and very reluctant to go for an embargo like this. So what we've heard is the European Commission, as early as tomorrow, will be coming out with a compromise proposal that could then be signed off on Wednesday by EU ambassadors. This compromise proposal would see a phase out of Russian oil by the end of the year, perhaps, and it would see special measures and exemptions for those countries who rely most on Russian oil. And we've seen and heard from the German Minister today for Energy, Robert Habeck, very much in favour, saying we are on board with this and we're looking at ways to make sure that it doesn't hurt Germany too much. And of course, Poland as well, its neighbour, saying that they'll step in and help. We heard the Climate Minister from Poland saying that they will help Germany wean off this dependency on Russian oil.
Abortion rights activists are protesting outside the US Supreme Court over fears that justices could overturn a 1973 ruling legalizing abortion. According to a draft of a majority opinion leaked to newspaper Politico, the landmark Roe v. Wade decision was wrong from the start.
The beginning to the end on the court documents leaked, but we have to keep fighting because we know the Supreme Court is swayed by public opinion, and so we have to come out, mass mobilization of people power, to say that the reversal of Roe v. Wade is good and it will save lives, and that is good. And
the leak of a draft opinion while a case is still pending is a breach of Supreme Court secrecy, and a family planning organisation has reminded everyone that for now abortion is still legal and still a right. However, if the ruling is overturned, the regulation of abortion or even its ban would be left up to individual states, removing 50 years of constitutional protections. Several Republican-led states have already passed highly restrictive abortion laws in anticipation of such a ruling.
We're going to take a short break now. Stay tuned for more news and analysis here and on our website, euronews.com.